you were going in, and when you started out, it was so good.
Ready,
Lately,
so promising.
no, they were ready. They were ready. And he started. He went up to the mic. It was all quiet. And he started. He said, "Lately, I've been thinking something's going wrong." And then
you got an attitude, but you're not in the mood
like you used to.
Like you used to.
And then so you were going. Everybody was all in. All of a sudden, you were like,
that second verse.
It was so funny.
You know what's so crazy about that is that sometimes you can get so hyped up about things and don't realize what you have done until it has happened. And you're like, what have I put myself into? You know, especially with these young kids.
Yeah, but the point is, you've always been this guy. You've always been the guy to take the risk and to do the thing. You were never scared. So put yourself out there, even if you may forget the words or may fail at something. You've always, how is that in you?
If you're a go-getter, faith-driven and family-focused and need to break through to your next level, this is the podcast for you. Your self-talk can reshape every area of your life. It's time to dream and think big. Welcome to the Self-Talk Experience with Darnell and Tracy Self. It's time to elevate, baby. Let's get into the show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Self-Talk Experience. We are here today and I'm super excited. Well, I'm always excited when we do Self-Talk Experience, but we have a special guest today. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we've known this man for most of our lives.
Yes.
Right? For more than half of our lives. And we all used to date. Well, not the three of us, but you and your girl and me and my girl. and now all of us have been married for 28 years. So it is it's been an amazing journey. We're here with my partner, the godfather of one of our sons, Malik. Mr. Anthony Wright, also known as Tony Lamar, also known as Champ.
That's right.
Yes, super CEO. And we're going to get into all of that because this man has so many gifts. And I know sometimes people get caught up in multiple gifts if you're blessed to have multiple gifts. And it's hard to focus on any one thing. So we're going to get to that and find out how he and his honey have been mega successful here in the DMV area. We're just proud to not just call you a friend, but really family. And it's good to have you here.
Man, I don't know what to say. I'm like kind of lost for words, but I'm so excited to be here. And I appreciate you guys just inviting me here. I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you. What you want to say?
Well, what you were alluding to in the beginning, there are a lot of people who have a lot of things they try, and some they're not good at, some they are good at. And there are some people who have so many things that they're actually really talented and good at. And you have so much under your belt. And I just wonder how you decided what to hone in on.
Well, for me, I always tell my wife and I tell my business partner, I say, look, I'm not the type that like to multitask. I really don't. I know a lot of people might look at that and say that's kind of crazy, but you're doing quite a few things. So for me, let me kind of break that down, what I mean by that. What I mean by that is that it's not that I can't multitask. It's just that I don't like to multitask because I like to focus on one thing and get it right. Then move to the next thing. Right. That's me. That's how I work. That's how I make things work for me. Yeah. And I've noticed that it's been helpful and it's been good, and it works. Yeah. So I do have a few things going on.
So hold on. I don't even want you to get into those things yet.
But wait, just so we are clear on some of the talents that you have, you are a DJ.
Yes.
You're a singer.
Yes.
You're a barber.
Yes.
You're a youth mentor.
Yes.
I mean, I could keep going.
Yep. And he owns a mega successful catering company.
Exactly right.
Yes, I'm 50% owner of a catering company with my partner I've been knowing for over 40 years, Mr. Henry Tucker. Yes. He's the head chef and I am the head administrator. So the way we look at it is that what you eat is him and what you see is me. So with the branding and making sure that we have all the documentation to continue to produce is what I take care of, and what he take care of is the good scrumptious food. So that's how we maintain our business, and we've been pretty successful within the last 3 to 4 years. Things have been going really well.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that too, because I think a lot of folks are passionate about something, but they don't know how to turn that passion into profits.
Absolutely.
Right. And
Yes.
to use that passion to monetize it. I mean, why not if it's something you love to do anyway, because then it doesn't even feel like really a job. I mean, you love it.
Absolutely.
We want to get to that.
And it's always good to try to find something that you really love that you would actually want to do for free. You know, if you love it that much, you know, you say to yourself, you know, I can get up at any time of the day and say, I'm ready to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you
I
know, that's kind of
some
where I
3
am.
a.m. mornings.
Oh
4 a.m.
man.
mornings.
Oh man. In the beginning when things were, you know, just me and him, you know, in terms of the catering company, I remember getting up those 3. I used to tell you, hey man, you know, we gonna still hang out, man, but I got to get up at 3 or 4 tomorrow because, you know, hey, we got some events we have to do. So, you know, we got to do it. And that's what it's about in the beginning when you're starting something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So let's rewind a little bit because, you know, our audience knows that Tracy and I used to work at the mall together. That's where we met. And that's where we met.
Right.
That's so crazy. That's where we met at the mall.
Right.
At the mall.
So you all know Tracy and I met working at the mall. Most of you have been following the episodes for a while. We also met Champ here. That's why I call him Champ. Champ working at the mall. So
Right.
you weren't working at the mall.
Right.
You were shopping.
Man, let me tell you, it's so funny. Okay, so now I'm going to take off this conservative hat and come down to the down home brother right now. So, because we're going to go back there, you know. So I used to love going into that store. It was an urban store that was, you know, the hip hop store for everyone in the area, and you know, to wear the nice funky stuff, the, you know, the jeans and the shirts and the t-shirts and the jackets and the sweatsuits. You guys had everything for everybody. Every event, any party, you know, if you want to go out and you know, try to look good for that young lady you're taking out, you can go in there. So what I did, I used up against the wall as my closet. But
That was the name of the store, by the way.
right.
Up Against the Wall.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, and what was so funny is that I knew Tracy was not so friendly at that time. Let's get down to it. Let's get down to the nitty gritty.
Okay,
We want to
let's-
go there. Let's go there. So Tracy wasn't too friendly at the time. So what I used to do, I used to go in there and put so much on layaway. Because I knew it was going to bother her, and then go and get it out the next day.
You
Or
would put
2 days
no.
later.
You would put $1,000 worth of clothes in layaway. So I had to bring all this stuff up,
yeah.
bag it up, take it to the back, and then he would come and the next day and say, "I think I want the red shirt
Yeah.
in the jeans."
I used to do it just
so
to just
I would have to go
bother
take
you.
everything out, re-ring everything, take that out. And then 3 days later, you know, I think I want the purple sweatshirt now. Why did you do that?
Look, I wonder
I used
if,
to love
hey,
just
y'all,
getting
is
to
there,
it.
is there even layaway now?
I don't think so. Yeah,
Is-
well, some stores there are.
There-
Because
I
the
think-
audience
Yeah.
may say, if they're younger,
They
they're
are.
like,
What's
what?
layaway?
Store. I know,
Yeah,
right?
so it's
Layaway.
when you buy clothes and you don't have to pay for it all up front. Now you can't take it home yet. The store
You put a
keeps
deposit
it,
Put a
down.
deposit
but you put a
down.
little bit down. And you can keep coming in as often
Right.
as you want. Pay a little bit more until you pay it all off. At least you had those clothes. They're not going to sell out because we have them stored for you. So it's lay it away until you can pay for it all.
Well, there is a higher level to that. How about that? When we buy cars, for some can go out and buy it flat out. Some can
Right.
go and buy that house flat out. But we're pretty much putting it in layaway. Think about it.
Yeah.
We put the deposit down
Yeah.
and we're paying on it until we get it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
But
mean,
layaway doesn't have interest. So that's the
Okay,
only
so
thing.
that, well, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the only thing.
And
that's the
also
only
just
thing.
She
just
may have been charging you some interest. You just didn't know
Probably
it.
was.
and then
Hey, I'm
sometimes
getting
he
something.
would leave stuff in and it would get marked down. And I got to go through marking it down in the system. And you're like, oh, it's on sale now?
I used to love to bother you.
So
See
I,
that
so I
face.
bought that up. I bought that up because one day he's like, hey, man, because he's been shopping all the time. So we start to build a relationship. He's like, man, yo, one day, man, I should get my girl. You should get your girl. And we should do a double date. And what I say?
I don't think so. My girl don't like other girls. You know, in other words, the friendship wouldn't probably work out
It
too
wouldn't work
well.
out. No.
And what's so crazy, and what you know, you could tell when things are meant to be from the way how they happen. And you know, we happened to go to a concert. Nothing was planned. Still hadn't, you know, got together for any type of event or anything. And I think what was so surprising to me, Donnell, was that the fact that we was on the front row and we were sitting in the same row, but right beside each other. That right there is, I think, what got me to say, okay, evidently it must be meant for us to be friends. You don't go and sit beside somebody on the front row that you had doubts about us getting together.
Well, here's the thing. You guys are already there.
Yeah, we were already there
early.
You're right.
Everything.
Of course, you know me.
And so we come to the front row, and the seats right next to ours are them, Barbara and Anthony. We're like, hold up.
And I looked at him. I said, "You have got to be kidding me. This is that guy from the mall."
Yeah, but that was a start.
That was the start.
And that's where it started. And it's been, a great ride
of
of
over
seeing
30
us.
years.
Over
Yeah,
30
that's a
years
long
ago.
time, man.
Over 30 years
we neither one of us had kids then.
No, we weren't married.
Yeah, we weren't married, no children. So, and to see that growth and in us as friends and seeing our families and seeing our kids blossom and do their thing and go off on their own. And we are almost, we are all empty nesters, if you want to say, because even when they come home, for those who are not completely out of the house, they're not here anyway. They're out with their friends and doing their own thing. You know what I mean? So it's still, it's great.
Yeah. So
to see them do that.
So let me pivot for just a second here, because I'm only bringing up kind of the past because I want to take us somewhere here, because for those who are just meeting, our audience who's just meeting you for the first time, I just don't want them to see you now as, your cars, your home, or people see that now and they're like, oh my gosh, but they don't know the process.
Absolutely.
Right? They don't know. We remember Barbara's car breaking down on the Beltway. on a freeway in our area, and I'm going out to look for her because her cell phone went out. Something happened, but she couldn't even tell us exactly where she was.
I'm kind of watering up right now, just thinking about that right now, because I remember that day, and I'm sorry about that, y'all, but I remember that day because, she means so much to me. She's my best friend. She's my confidant. She's everything a man can ask for, in a woman. I remember that day, and then when you called me and told me, Anthony, I think I see her. You were on the phone with me as you were driving, and you had to cut through the little passway to get on the other side of 95, and you found her. And I just remember that. And I remember that car. Nissan Pulsar, black Nissan Pulsar. I remember, and I actually bought her that car. I never forget that, and it was just, it was a hard day for me that day, and I was just so happy, to know that we had friends. That's to show you the caliber of friendships that we have, to be able to go out, for you to leave work and go totally opposite from where you live and to go do that, and I truly appreciate you. That was a hard one, a hard pill to swallow, man. I tell you, definitely was that day.
But those moments that you use as motivation.
Absolutely.
Say, I'll never want my wife to be in this position again.
And that's what you did.
Yes, sir. And that's what happened.
That's what you did.
Yeah. So, so we talked about that. I also wanted to talk about, because Tracy already mentioned that you having a gift of a voice. I have a voice too.
No, you
not
don't.
A singing voice.
Babe.
Listen, y'all want to hear me sing?
No, we
That's
don't.
all right.
We don't.
all right.
We don't.
You are super good at what you do.
You are.
So shady right now.
Amazing.
Don't think singing is one of them.
Okay, so you went to a school of the arts.
Yes.
Duke Ellington. And you sang at our reception to our wedding.
You sure did. You did sing.
What did you sing? Sparkle.
I sung Sparkle, and I thought I sung LTD, Love Ballad.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Oh, yeah.
So much
Okay.
in love.
Before.
So all these little things. Even cooking. We used to have cooking battles.
Oh yeah, that was
You
a
and
fun
I
day.
against Tracy and Barbara, which
Yes.
wasn't even fair because she could really cook.
Right. Did we ever win?
I don't know.
don't know.
So my point is, all these little things, right? In our episode 2, I think it was connecting the dots. We found all these dots that have connected, and then we went to a ski trip. And this is, I'm taking y'all somewhere. We went to a ski trip, and while we were at this ski trip, I think it was in Pennsylvania, we noticed there's a whole bunch of kids there. We realized it was a trip, some type of trip for a high school. So we went into where all the high school students were. They had like a karaoke night or something like that. You remember?
Yeah, they were having a talent show.
A talent
or something.
show. So they said, I guess they went through the whole list and said, anybody else want to come up? This one here, high school, we're like old cats.
Right.
So we're probably in our 30s at the time. You're like, I'm going to go up. And then this one who encourages you to do anything.
Number one fan. Number one fan. If I
like, go.
Her and my daughter, number one fan.
And you went up there, and you're in the middle of, you were going for it, and you couldn't think of the words.
Man,
of the song.
I forgot the second verse. I'll never forget. But I mean, you know, we were on a ski trip. We was on vacation. Probably had a nice little level of spirits in me. So that's what gave me the courage to go
to do
it.
You were going in, and when you started out, it was so good.
Ready, so promising.
No, they were ready. They were ready. And he started.
Sing
he went
it
up
with
to the
me.
mic. It was all quiet. And he started. He said, "Lately, I've been thinking something's going wrong." And then
you got an attitude, but you're not in the mood
like you used to. And then so you were going, and everybody was all in. And all of a sudden, you were like,
"That's the second verse."
It was so funny.
You know what's so crazy about that is that sometimes you can get so hyped up about things and don't realize what you have done until it has happened. And you're like, what have I put myself into? You know, especially with these young kids.
Yeah, but the point is, you've always been this guy. You've always been the guy to take the risk and to do the thing. You were never scared. So put yourself out there, even if you may forget the words or may fail at something. You've always, how is that in you?
You know, I can't even say that. I think it's the company that I keep that I've noticed, you know, within the past.
That's big.
You know, I've been the only grandchild for so long. And then, you know, of course, I'm the only child with my parents. So seeing my parents take the risk every day of getting up, taking the risk every day of just being parents, taking the risk every day of being married to each other, you know, and the beauty of that is that I was able to grow up with both of my parents. And, you know, some people didn't get a chance to do that.
Right.
And for me to be able to sit here and do that, I'm so grateful for that, you know, to be able to have a father there, a mom there. And, you know, and so to see them take risks every day, you know, not giving up on, not having a college education and going out there to find that job and still, like my mom worked at Children's Hospital for 45, maybe 50 years, I think. I remember her taking me to work with her when she was working in the X-ray file department and then moved up through training classes to look through microscopes to give analysis to doctors in microbiology. So I'm hoping you heard what I said. No college degree, but through training classes because she wanted better from where she came from. That's a part of not giving up. So I think that's, you know, it was instilled in me definitely through my parents. So
yeah, and that's awesome, man. So, and did you go to college?
I did. I took a couple of classes, man, and just realized that it wasn't for me. You know, to be honest, you know, I think my attention span for something, being taught stuff that just didn't interest me. I'm gonna keep it real. I couldn't sit to enough time to learn things that just didn't interest me. I'm more into entertainment. I'm more visual. I'm more animated. I need to see things going on and happening. You know what I mean? And not just, okay, today you need to point here to this board and I need you to take these notes down and, you know, and then the teacher has to be a little more animated for me. I know my best teacher was my Algebra 1 teacher. Oh, goodness. She was so good.
Yeah.
You know,
She must have been for you to remember that.
Yes, she was amazing. And I will never, ever forget her. Miss Browning, I will never, ever forget her. And I wish I could see her now. I hope she's still living. I hope she's living a good life. I hope she's
might be
okay,
one of
healthy.
our audience members.
I hope so. And if she is, hi, Miss Browning, how are you? You taught me algebra. And I sat there and listened and was in the front row. I will never forget.
Wow.
So, it depends.
Yeah. So let's do this because this is all good to lead up to where I think we wanted to go with your buddy Champ here.
Yeah.
And it is now you and Barbara, you and your wife have had, success that most people would dream about. You know what I mean? The places you guys are able to go and the travels and what you're able to do for your son and daughter, Marcus and Kennedy, the lifestyle that you guys have been able to provide for them. When you decided, okay, because you used to work at Children's Hospital, and when you decided, you know what, I'm going to start doing something on my own. I'm going to step out. What was that? What motivated you to do that? What caused you to do that? What was your thinking? Like, what was your self-talk at that moment? Were you dissatisfied with working at the job? Like, what made you say, you know what, I'm stepping out? I remember us having some of these conversations, but I just want you to share with our self-talk audience, because I believe there's some folks right now who have not tapped into their full potential. They have not started pursuing their passions yet, even though they have that passion. And maybe something you say would encourage them to do so.
I think that, when I was working at Children's Hospital, it was a great job. Definitely. I was glad to be a part of something, in terms of helping people and making sure, I did my job and being on time and stuff like that. But I got to the point of seeing things and hearing things and listening to people and, a lot of things me and you embarked upon as well, with the network marketing and just hearing and listening to people who are, at a very high level in their lives. And it's because of them taking a risk and doing things and believing in themselves and saying, you know what, it's got to be more to life than just working for someone and them telling me when to get up and them telling me how long I can work and what time I can come home. I can get off and then go back and do it again.
Right.
So, again, placing myself in an area around the company that I keep and hearing people talk about their transition from the workforce and the workplace to doing their own thing. And I said, it's got to be something else besides this. I'm seeing other people able to do it. So why can't I? My wife, she came to me with an idea and said, hey, you know what? I think I want to open up my own mental health clinic. And I said, that sounds good, babe. I'm with you. Let's do it. And she decided to do that. And right now she's, has a multi-million-dollar company and is doing well. And, which inspired me to want to go and do things on my own as well.
Right.
So, the DJ and then the catering company and now we're embarking upon, some other things we're doing right now too, where we're starting a enterprise where we have, we're starting trucking and we're starting real estate and stuff like that, where we've pretty much made some pretty heavy moves on that. So I'm excited about that. That pretty much just happened within the last 24 to 48 hours, believe it or not, so we're happy about those things and just trying to create and add more to the legacy for our kids so they will have more things too. And to let them see that, hey, even though we're getting older, but we're still thinking about still doing things and creating and being business owners and working for ourselves. You know what I mean?
I want to step back a little bit too, because I don't know if you even realize that when she did do that, when Barbara said you supported her. When we said that we wanted to go out on our own and do business, you supported us. You have been the person in the background for so long that has been the biggest cheerleader and the biggest supporter, and you always have the heart to help. and the heart to give. And then we didn't even talk about how you opened up a group home. And you have inspired and helped raise so many young men in our area. And so you were doing all of these things to lead up to you finally saying, okay, now I'm going to do something for me. But before you did all that, it was about everybody else. And you have been the person who has helped everyone else succeed first.
Well, definitely, who am I to say you can't do something? You know what I mean? If it's definitely on your heart, you know, and like I said, if it's something that you're willing to get up and do without, you know, getting paid for it, then I definitely, especially if it's positive. Let's go there. If it's positive, I'm definitely going to be in your corner for it. You know, whatever you do, whatever you buy, whatever you get, you know what I mean? Me and Donnell all the time, he'll call me, hey man, guess what I just, or I'll call him and say, you know, Donnell, I'm thinking about what you think, man. He'd be like, go for it. And I'm like, man, you go for it, man, go for it. You know, because we only live once in this lifetime and, you know, nothing is guaranteed. When you wake up in the morning, that's, you know, when you go to sleep at night, I heard one thing real quick. I heard one thing from Pastor Dr. Freeman, Spirit of Faith. He said, one of the best blessings in the world is when you can leave from your home, but return. You can you return back because some people don't make it back home.
Yeah.
You know, so it's so wonderful to just be able to to do that, share it with someone you love, share it with friends, seeing friends prosper and do things and just be a part of it because we're friends and family.
Yeah. So, and we do appreciate you being the type of person who's always supportive of other people's dreams. Quite honestly, sometimes you have people around you who pretend like they're happy for you, but behind closed doors, they're jealous or not happy. And I mean, you've been there for every single thing. I've sold you water filters, laundry services, and back in the day.
We tried it all, man.
And you've always been there like, hey, man, I'm down. Count me in.
Something we've learned from each one of those things. Think about it, dude. We took something away from each one of those things, you know? So what I like about, you know, what's so refreshing about that is that you can take those things and take it to the next thing that you do.
Yep. And that's what we're going to talk about. When we come back, we're going to talk about trusting the process.
Absolutely.
And being able to profit from your passion. Because, you know, we sitting next to multimillionaires. We got to ask these questions. We got to dig a little deeper here. So we appreciate you. We'll be right back.
Hey family, make sure you're following my girl Brianna on Instagram at Belux Boutique or to shop for date night or just lounging in the house. She has everything you need. As you can see, go to her website, belux.shop, and get you some great pieces today.
All right, so let's talk about trusting the process, right? Because I know that you and your wife's success did not happen overnight. And again, for those, you know how sometimes you haven't seen anybody in a while, you're like, dude, you killing it. But they don't realize the 3 years they haven't seen you were like underground in the lab. You know what I mean? The challenge, the administrative stuff, the hiccups, the barriers, the roadblocks. You're like, oh, and people don't know all of that.
We talk about that.
You're not posting all of that.
All the time. I was going to say social media paints this picture. And we'll see the event that you've thrown and all the people that were there, but they don't know you woke up at 3 a.m.
Right. Exactly right.
And you were the one carrying stuff from the truck.
Right.
Absolutely.
So we would love for you to share about trusting the process. What does that mean to you, trusting the process?
Well, what I would definitely encourage people to do is to not get caught up into what they see in the present of how people look, you know, the cars, the materials and that they have. And you thinking that, oh man, you know, they doing so well. And see what you do, you tend to get caught up into that and you thinking that can happen right now. And that's nowhere near how it happens. In order for you to even become successful or to get to that level, trust me, that person who, for the most part, I will say, you know, a very large percentage of people who you may see that look like that and look like they got it going on and got everything that you would like to have. They went through something, you know, and they had to go through something in order for them to get to where they are. You don't you don't get to this level of prestige, by waking up in the morning and just going to your Rolls Royce or, your car. It doesn't happen like that. Whatever you're doing and whatever you want, you have to go through a process. It has to hurt. It has to hurt in the morning when you get up. You have to go through so much to get to that point where you feel relaxed. I remember times, like you said, like you mentioned, for the catering company, me and my partner getting up and business partner getting up, and, I'm getting up at 3, going to pick him up, and we have to be in the kitchen by 4, and we cooking for, 100 people, and just us two, nobody else. And that's the reason why we had to get there that early,
Right.
Taking everything, having to go shopping for ourselves, having to, bring that food back, put it in the kitchen, cooking all of it ourselves, prepping it, everything, taking it to the place, and then also serving it. All that.
Wow.
For just me and him, but I used to say to myself, at this, I know it's going to be, God is not going to let us, my higher power, because I don't want to offend anyone. So my higher power said to me, hey, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
If you just trust the process. You got to go through this.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the gentleman who used to own Fubu. He was on Shark Tank.
Yes.
And he said, I'm not going to even invest in any company where you haven't been through anything. Because you don't know what it feels like.
Right.
Yeah.
You haven't been through anything to get to this level. You know what I mean? So I remember times being in the negative monthly.
Yeah.
Red, to the point that I don't even like the color red anymore. I can't stand red. But I love green.
Yeah.
Because when you see green, that means things are looking good and it's starting to point in the right direction. So, if you
Was that over the first year in business? First 2 years in
a couple of
business?
years. It doesn't, you really don't start seeing some type of, income coming in probably after to the 4th or 5th year if you're doing it right. Because you got to go through mistakes. That's the thing. People don't know you have to. They thinking that, oh man, this happened to me, man. This, and they give up quick.
Right.
But literally, that's a learning step that you have to go. You have to. That's another obstacle you got to jump over. Then you're going to go through a few more.
Right.
Because now I know what not to do.
It makes you better.
Right.
It's just making you better.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all it does. And wanting that self. Just put it in your mind to just know that you're going to go through some things to get to that point where you really want to be.
Yeah.
You're definitely going to go through some things.
What's funny is that sometimes when people have fast or quick success, there's nothing wrong with quick success. If you've been blessed and you get a contract right away because of a relationship and you end up having a success in the first year, nothing wrong with that. But sometimes people learn the hard lessons after they've already had success. And that's tough because now you have it and you're not used to you've not built up the resilience.
Yeah.
Right.
So now that you have had this success, whatever that success is, and then the mistake comes,
Wow.
people don't know how to deal with it because they've always had wins. So they don't know how to operate in the loss. Right. And so you start off like, hey, I'm going to keep building up. I'm what people would deem as losing right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And again, I think it was very uncomfortable for me because of my childhood growing up. Again, being the only child and being the only grandchild for so long, the word no or not, having or not being able to get, or hey, if my mom didn't get it, I'll go to my aunt or my grandmother. Somebody was going to get me something. It was a little manipulative, but I mean, I did what I did, and that's how it happened. But so even during the beginning stages of the business, I was like, hey, this is not going to work, man. I was about to, but because of, my partner, Henry, he used to always tell me, man, just trust the process, man. And, and I developed so much patience, even, talking to my wife about this new deal that we embarked upon. She kind of wanted to move a little fast and got a little, upset about a few things or disappointed. I was like, babe, that's okay. What that means is that that's not for us right now, but the next thing just may be for us.
Right.
So don't worry about it.
Yep.
You know, you got to trust the process. You know, things are going to happen. It's going to still happen.
Yeah.
And what was told to me not too long ago from a great friend of mine I grew up with, he said, you know what, Tony, guess what? You're going to have everything you want, long as you be patient and long as you put in the work.
Put in the work.
I love it. I love it, man. And I think that's a key piece. Thanks for sharing that with the self-talk experience audience, because sometimes people want to mimic your results, right? Man, I want to ride like that. I want a house like that. I want a business like that. What they should be mimicking is the activity that got the results. No one has results without activity. Results don't exist without some activity.
Absolutely.
Unless someone gave you it, right? That's different. Someone gave it to you, you didn't have to have any activity, but someone who gave it to you did have activity. So what people really want to know is what you do to get it, not I just want to have it, because people say that they don't mean that. Man, I'm trying to be like you. No, you want to do the activity I did to get what I have.
Right.
And the only reason you do the activity is because you had a certain attitude.
Yes.
So this whole process starts with somebody at some point saying, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
This is enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
You know what I mean?
And there's so many people out here, like you said, they get caught up to, you know, what they see, not realizing that, you know, if you did get up and somebody gave you all of these things that you want right now, you won't appreciate it. You won't appreciate it at all. You know, the novelty will wear off very fast. Yeah. So, but if you got out there and you worked hard, you know, snow days, rainy days, can you imagine in a van pulling all of this food out in boxes out of a van and it's pouring down on you? You know what I mean? But you got to make it work. Right. That's just a part of it.
Right.
You know, every day we're telling ourselves that, okay, you know what? This can't be like this every day.
Right.
And if you put it in work for this long, it has to be a payoff somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You can't just do all this hard work for nothing. It's impossible. It's no way. So, you know, some people have to realize that, you know, you will appreciate everything that comes to you at the end or during the process, when you're working hard, when you're trusting the process, and when you're being patient and realizing that, okay, these bumps don't mean that it's over. It's something that your higher power put that in front of you so you can learn from it, so you won't make that mistake again.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And people have that I quit level, and you always have to push over it. You know, so somebody today could be watching this and saying, I quit yesterday, but because of what you're saying, let me go back out there.
Yeah.
Let me go back out there and do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So I appreciate you coaching us and sharing about your process and you trusting the process. And the last piece I wanted to ask.
Let me interrupt real quick.
Please.
Coaching?
Yeah.
Man, you've been coaching. You've been coaching for quite some time, man. And I have listened to you, and I've heard, you know, and I kind of feel bad because I feel like I stole stuff that you worked hard for.
No.
But like your book reading and stuff that you have learned and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you tell me, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't have to read that now. You just told me.
Hey, Cliff Notes, man.
Right, you know.
Right.
So I appreciate that too.
Yeah,
and you know,
it's a pleasure.
And Tracy just always just being there, you know, that smile that I need, and that person who you know help me to make you guys smile and have fun, because that's what I love more than anything.
Yeah,
it's just putting a smile on people's
I know
face,
you do.
man.
I know you, and everybody who knows you knows that about you. And so look, so we talked about trusting the process. The other piece I wanted to make sure we got to for our audience is turning your passion into profit. And I already know. So I'm just going to say it and then let you finish off with it, man. So before you had the contracts you have today, right? And all the things that are happening with your catering business. By the way, what's the name of your catering company?
It's called Grub Rockstar Catering, rockstarsauce.com. And we're doing pretty good.
Yeah,
man.
and that'll be listed below you.
Absolutely.
You know, I made the edit, so that'll be all there for you. But so before you had all the contracts and all the successes coming your way, with you and my brother Henry, with your catering company now, it was a passion. You always loved cooking. Somebody out here loves something right now, but you turn that into profit. And one of the things I know about you is that you've always built healthy relationships. You even go back, you're willing to apologize. You've gone back to people from like 20 years ago. You wouldn't know, you probably don't remember I did this, but I'm sorry, right? We won't even get into that on this episode.
Yes, please.
But but you're willing to say, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of men aren't. Maybe women too, but I'm just speaking on what I know as a man, right? Sometimes it's tough. So you've built healthy relationships, and those relationships have allowed you to turn your passion into profit, because when you walk in the room and you brighten it, you're willing to you're interested in other people. Yes, you're an interesting guy. Everybody sees that, but you're also interested. If someone says, man, my son just eat, really? Tell me about that. You just forget yourself and you're all in them. And that's allowed, I think, people to want to help you and give to you and open up doors for you.
Well, that's definitely part of my parents, because my mom would talk to anyone. You know, my kid, well, my daughter and my wife, you know, early days, they used to say, Dad, you talk to anyone. But it's not that I would talk to anyone. It's just, I believe that if they're going to start a conversation with me, then it would be nice to, you know, react back and give a little more conversation back. But definitely, you know, that's what it's all about, man. It's building relationships, building rapport with people. And in this business, you know, it's hospitality. That's what it's about. You know, you want to make sure people are happy and accommodated. And that's what we try to do. And, you know, when I talk to people, man, it's not always got to be about me. You know, you get to know people by letting them talk. And so, you know, doing that, I think that has benefited us quite a bit, you know, with
I know it has.
moving forward and our name and them giving us a chance to show them what we do.
Yeah. And then you got to produce.
And then we have to produce. Then we got to show up.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So and that's what I'm so on making sure everybody is happy. It's like, you know, when we have events, I don't eat. My sleeping pattern at night is terrible. You know, I may not drink and, you know, anything until they tell me at the end, oh my God, everything was amazing. The food was amazing. The customer service was amazing. And then, you know, that's when I feel all of the anxiety goes down and I'm okay.
Yeah. That's special, man. That's special. So it's just, you know, you've poured in a lot to so many other people, as my wife said, and that's why I'm so happy that now all these things are being poured into you, right? It's just like you have expanded your vessel so that God can now pour in abundance of blessings into you. And just proud of you, man. Excited for you.
So deserve it, because you've been there for everybody else. Everybody
and
else.
I thank God for that. I'm glad that I was able to be a witness to a lot of the greatness that's gone on around me.
Absolutely.
You know, you have done extremely well. You guys have been together for so long, and you're happy. Look at you, just smiling, and you know, look, and this here is doing so well, and I'm so happy that you know, you guys are pivoting and doing things and doing things for yourselves, as you always do anyway. But you know, just this level of happiness that I see, you know, between you guys is great. Family, the kids are happy, everybody's doing well, man. I'm glad to be a part of it. Thanks for the self-talk experience, my man.
No doubt.
Yeah, but just know that you have been an inspiration to us as well. And we wouldn't have what we have if we didn't have the support and friendship from you too.
Yeah.
We you know, we've had so much, and I thank you for that, you know. But I genuinely want to be that way, because especially with someone who I really, really love and care about. And, you know, we've been friends for so long. You know, I remember the days of the snow, the 24 feet.
And you came to rescue me.
You know,
I mentioned that on one of the episodes. I gave you a shout out. I don't know what episode
I
it was.
remember the cabin fever you guys were having. And, you know, and
the day our car was repossessed, you guys were on vacation, and Barbara's car was in front of our house because we
drove y'all to the airport.
Yeah.
And if your car wasn't there, I wouldn't have been able to give her a ride to work that day.
Wow.
Yes, that's so true.
Wow.
Because our car was taken that day, and she was like, "How am I gonna get to work?" And I was like, "Barbara's car's outside."
That's amazing.
But the other part of that story was, even when you guys came back, they told us to keep the car.
Yep.
Because you said we have another car at home.
It didn't mean as much to you
because y'all had
as
another
it meant
car.
to us.
Yeah.
To you, it was just a car.
So we kept the car another week until we could figure things out.
I just remember the turkle.
Absolutely. Well, listen, guys, this has been another wonderful episode of the Self-Talk Experience.
Yes.
My man Champ, Tony, Anthony, entrepreneur extraordinaire, has taught us some additional things about talking good to ourselves. Because remember, the things we say to ourselves about ourselves eventually determines what and even who we attract for ourselves. See you guys the next time.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to the Self-Talk Podcast with Darnell and Tracy Self. We hope you enjoyed. Be sure to rate and review this podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform. And we'll see you next time. And remember, talk good to yourself.